Oklahoma won the coin toss, so they're the home team. Austin will be batting first. The game will get going in about 7 minutes or so. There's a little bit of a breeze here, Rosina. I don't know that it's going to affect gameplay, but it's definitely noticeable.
It is noticeable. It's going to, at least starting off this morning, it's going to be more of a game changer later in the day when these teams are on their second and third game, tired throughout the day. Will it help keep them a little bit cooler and out there ready to play? We do have the Blackhawks starting to get their lineup ready. They are wearing their gray jerseys with red, black, and white print. They have their large Blackhawk bird that is spread out across the front of the jersey, and in its talons it is holding a beat ball. Over on our right at the first base side, we have the Lookouts starting to get ready. They are in their red jerseys with white number, and it says Lookouts across the front. So Darius Sterling will be the first one up to bat for the Blackhawks as he's waiting patiently at home plate, trying to keep his arms limber, swimming that bat around. He's got a red headband on and some red arm sleeves. And the Lookouts are just now starting to take off some of their players out into the field as they start to make their way to start this first game.
Austin and Oklahoma have met once previously this year. It was in the Gateway Mind's Eye Beatball Regional last month in St. Charles, Missouri, and Austin won that game, and it was a fairly convincing win, but neither team was at full strength. Oklahoma has all of their players here, obviously, being the local team, and so we'll see how these two teams do now that they are healthy and at full strength. Some of the players to watch for the Oklahoma Lookouts, most of them are fairly new players. You got the Ivy brothers, Mark and Kyle Ivy. You'll be hearing their names quite a bit. Aaron Higbee, who we saw in the hitting competition at the skills competition yesterday, he will be a name. He'll be a player to watch as well. And for the Austin Blackhawks, of course, Rosina already mentioned one of their stars, Darius Sterling. He is an all-star, and he was the defensive MVP of one of the large local tournaments this summer, the Bolingbrook tournament. And so he'll be a player to watch, as will Mike Finn for the Austin Blackhawks, as will Daniel Brock, who was one of the rookies of the year last year in the NBBA.
I do believe that Finn will be up. He looks like he is on deck in the batter's circle right now, but still have Darius waiting patiently. A couple tosses there between Molly and the catcher Cutler as they're getting a few practice tosses in with that ball, and Darius still trying to keep those arms limber, swimming the bat occasionally over home plate.
So while we have a few minutes, for those who are a little bit unfamiliar with beat baseball, some of the rules of the game. This is 6 innings, 3 outs per innings. The main difference, one of the main differences, offensively anyway, between beat baseball and traditional baseball or softball is that the pitcher is pitching for the offensive team. Think coach pitch. His job is to try to get the hitters to make contact and put the ball in play. There is no second base. Each ball put in play will result in either an out or a run. We'll get to some more of the rules as we go along. Mike Woodard is the umpire. He has called ready to play, and for the play-by-play, here's Rosina.
Is Raquel ready for that first pitch? Oh, and the ball just slid barely under. You can almost hear a slight tick with that bat from Darius.
And you can hear Molly Fleming give the command. The pitcher will say something along the lines of set, ready, pitch, or set, ready, ball to indicate to the batter that the pitch is coming.
Oh, and it was a little high, but he just caught a tip of it. He ran about 8 feet out, and the ball came down almost on top of his head, but that is foul. He's back up to home plate.
Each batter gets 4 strikes in this game instead of the traditional 3. They get 4. Foul balls count as a strike, except for the last strike, of course. There are 6 players per side, 6 on offense and 6 out in the field. The bases are 100 feet from home plate.
Oh, and that one slid under by about 3 inches under the bat.
So that's the 3rd strike of the at-bat. But of course, he's still got 1 more strike left.
taking a deep breath at the plate. Bat back up at the shoulder. Again, that's a high pop out right out into center field, about a good 100 feet. It's stumbling right there after the ball, but he is safe.
You saw a lot of speed from Darius Sterling, and that's a key in this game, is to get down that baseline and tag that pile on base as fast as you can. He ran a good straight 100-foot base, and he got there before the defense had the ball off the ground, under control, and away from the body, and that's how it works in this sport. There's no throwing to bases. Every ball put in play will result in either a run or an out, and it's basically a race to the base and the ball. If the batter can hit the base before the fielder gets possession of the ball up off the ground, a run will be recorded. That's what happened. 1-0 Austin Blackhawks.
Okay, we do have Mike Finn up at the plate, standing patiently. He's at ease right now, just kind of pivoting back hip to hip, kind of staying limber as we get a base check. Ump has called it, ready to play, and bats high up over the shoulder and ready for the pitch.
Mike Finn, a Hall of Famer in the NBBA, class of 2017.
Oh, and that one was a little bit on the outside, DB.
And sometimes the pitcher will try to put a ball on either the inside or the outside to try to dictate what direction of the field it's going to be hit into.
Oh, just a touch low, but she's still on the outside of that bat, so she's obviously that is going to be Mike's hot spot.
Mike Finn's a veteran. He's got a really good, consistent swing. He's been doing this for a very long time.
And a hard slammer drops down to the ground, out into right field, past the first line of defense, right into the legs. Is he going to grab? Aaron is scrambling. No, he is safe. Did not have that up away from his body. He's hanging, had the ball, but he could not get control of it and get it up and off the ground in his body.
So he got half of it right. He was able to get in position and block the ball, but you have to have the ball, like we said, off the ground, under control, and away from the body. And he didn't get that second part. You know, he's a good player, but he was one of the rookies, Aaron Higbee, that I said we were going to need to watch. Defense is one of the hardest parts of the game to get down, and he got it halfway there, but that's not going to do. And so it's 2-0 Austin. First two batters of the game have scored. Good start for the Blackhawks.
Bringing Daniel Brock up to the plate.
Daniel Brock was one of the rookies of the year last year. He's a great player, and his brother just got drafted by the Texas Rangers out of Louisiana Lafayette University. So he'll be entering the minor league farm system for the Rangers. Daniel's a beat baseball player. It's just a baseball family.
The ball was about 4 inches under the bat, right in the center.
The pitcher stands 20 feet from home plate. Here we go.
Oh, and this one was closer, a little more on the outside, but only about 2 inches off the bat. Daniel does have an interesting eye mask on, DB. I think I saw a stalk of broccoli on one patch.
That's nice and creative.
Oh, that was close. There was barely a hair's breadth there between the ball and the bat.
And you see they've got the timing down, and it's a symbiotic. It's really a teamwork between the pitcher and the batter to try to score runs in this sport.
Oh, a little more on the outside this time and swinging a little hard. So there is the out for the Blackhawks.
So there's the first out of the game, and that is on a strikeout. 2 in and 1 out here in the top of the first. Just getting going here at Gillis Rother Soccer Complex in Norman on a warm day and what's going to become a hot day where they're talking triple-digit temperatures here.
I believe this is Andrew Burnett.
Drew Burnett.
Burnett.
First-year Blackhawk. He played for the Houston Hurricanes, and before that he came up with Fort Worth. He played for the BCS Outlaws for a little while. Very good, especially defensive player, Drew Burnett.
Oh, that was just over the top of the outside edge of the bat. It's prepping up, getting a better grip on that bat. thick elbow pads on as he pulls the bat back. High pop up over into left. It is gonna be fair. It just went past the pitching line. They're scrambling to get it. He is gonna be safe easily. It was a nicely placed ball right there, just past the line.
Great beat ball hit there. You know, when you can put it just there past the line toward one of the baselines, it makes it tough. It becomes a race to the base and then the defender to the ball. They had a long way to go to try to pick that up. Good job by Drew Burnett. 3 out of the first 4 have scored here for Austin. This is what they want when you're playing a brand new team and you're a veteran team like the Blackhawks. You want to jump on them early, try to break their spirit a little bit if you can.
This should be Mariano up to bat.
Mariano Reynoso
with his red gloves with a little black logo. Not quite sure if that's a bull or a little devil on his gloves. It's kind of small, getting that base check.
Mariano is one of the cornerstones and the longest tenured Blackhawks now at this point.
Hard slammer over into left. A nice even, dropping down at about 80 feet over into the second row. And he is out. That is going to be, let me see who that is out there.
That's an important putout. That is the first putout ever recorded at the World Series by the Oklahoma Lookout defense.
That was by Kyle Ivey, one of the brothers.
We mentioned the Ivey brothers, and so it's always nice to get that first putout. When you're a new team playing your first World Series game, especially when you're the hometown team, getting that first run or getting that first putout is always really important for your confidence. So there's their first putout. They got that out of the way now.
I think this might be Ed
Manning.
Bat.
And he's in the 6th spot today. He shows his number 31.
He's pulled his sleeves on his jersey up onto his shoulders to feel that cool breeze. A quick tap on the center of home plate, pulling the bat out to the edge. And getting another quick tap. Bat kind of level, even keel, dropping to below his hip. Just barely sliding over the top of that.
Yeah, Ed's not a speed burner, but he's got a hard swing and he's got some power.
Again, just sliding underneath the bat.
Molly's making good contact with her hitters, though. 4 of the first 5 batters have put it in play. If she can keep that up, Austin's going to have a good week.
Hard swing, bounced down on the ground, but then rolled out over into left, just to the first line. Stumbled over their shoes, and he is safe. They could not get to it in time. They felt it with their shoes, but then couldn't get to the ball in time to get it off the ground.
That's tough because that's a ground ball, and when you're playing a higher seeded team, you got to pick up the balls that you can pick up, and that was a play that maybe could have been made. And now what that does is that turns the lineup back to the top of the order, and your fast runners, instead of being out of the inning now, there's 4 runs on the board, and they're still looking for that third out as Darius Sterling comes up.
That Darius back up at the plate. That was Leah Werner out there trying to get that ball in action. Have a couple little moves out here by the spotters, out with the lookouts, moving a couple players into hopefully a better position for some defense.
So there are 6 players out on defense for each team, and then there can be as many as 2 field spotters. The field spotters are sighted volunteers who are allowed to call one number when the ball is hit, indicating a zone, a part of the field that the ball is going to go into, and then teams have different zoning schemes as to how they split up the field.
Nice tip off. It's running right along the line. I believe that is going to stay foul. It's just over onto the first base side, about 3 feet outside the line, and then was going straight for about 15 to 20 feet, then started to roll even more foul.
And that's why Mike Woodard, the plate umpire, had to wait a few seconds to see what the ball was going to do before he called it. And he did, and he called it foul. You'd rather wait and make the right call than jump the gun.
So it does bring Darius. He was about halfway down over to third base, as that is the one that he was headed for, and turned around, making his way back. Have the coach for the Lookouts headed out to retie somebody's shoe out in the field. So getting that defensive player's shoes tied. So plays safely. The breeze has picked up.
It has picked up just a little bit. Now again, if the breeze blows too hard, it could start to interfere with the defender's ability to hear the ball and the batter's ability to hear the base. I don't think we're there yet with this breeze, but it's certainly a stiff breeze, and it feels pretty nice, all things considered.
Pretty good at this point, as long as it doesn't get much stronger. Ready for that next pitch. Hard hit by Darius again, right along, almost hitting first base. Turning around, head back to home plate once again.
So Darius is all over the ball. Hadn't put one in play yet, but he's hit 2 foul balls here, and he'll walk it back, take a couple deep breaths, because again, it is warm here already.
At least having all these this early in the morning with the breeze, when you're not too tired out. This happens around game 2 and game 3, and it's a little more frustrating. Yeah, you're still in play to hit, but it starts getting a little exhausting to have to come back and try to redo.
Right.
Ready up for that pitch.
And all of these teams play 3 games today, except the teams in Pool A.
That one was a little outside and low.
So that's 3 strikes now because of the foul balls. So again, now the Lookouts are 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. We're still in the top of the first. Austin's put 4 runs on the board. Oklahoma waiting for their first turn at bat.
Oh, and that one was high. And that is going to be it for Darius this time.
So they'll change up sides. The Blackhawks put up 4 in the top of the first, and we're going to get our first live look at the new Lookouts of Oklahoma.
They are making their way up to their dugout, so to speak, under their tents, so they can prepare their lineup as the Blackhawks start to take the field.
And while we're doing that, just to run down, there's 8 other games going on during this time slot this morning in the 8:30 time slot, and they're all separated into pools. Again, this is the round-robin portion of the tournament. Pool A right now, the New Jersey Titans are playing the Tyler Tigers. In Pool B, the San Antonio Jets and the St. Louis Sirens, which are the new all-women's team, as well as the Boston Renegades and the Houston Hurricanes are playing. Over in Pool C, you've got the Indy Thunder and the Braille Bandits of Palm Beach and the Chicago Comets and Cleveland Scrappers. There's an old rivalry there renewed. Pool D, in addition to this game, you've got the BSO Philly Fire and the San Gabriel Valley Panthers of California. And then in Pool E, you've got the Gateway Archers and Minnesota Millers, the Bayou City Heat, and Atlanta Chaos. And of course, later on today at 2:30, our second game of the day will come from Pool E. It'll be the number 5 seed, the Gateway Archers, and the number 6 seed, the Bayou City Heat. Here it's 4-0 Austin heading to the bottom of the first. We're going to get our first look at Tim Hibner and his Oklahoma Lookout offense. And what you're going to see, Rosina, is a lot of lefties. I think Oklahoma's got more left-handed hitters than any team in the tournament. So get ready to call some lefties, starting with the Ivy brothers.
So let's see, our first one up to bat, Tim's converging here on home plate, is going to be number 11, Casey Bond.
And Casey Bond he's got some experience. He played for the Long Island Bombers before moving to Oklahoma and helping to get this team going. He's on their coaching staff. and he's one of the people that helped start the team. He's leading off for Oklahoma.
Just getting a quick listen as we have some issues going on with third base down there, checking the wires. We have our ump down there checking the connection and fixing the angle of the base, trying to keep the wire out of the way.
The bases are wired. The bases are 100 feet away from home plate, and they're 10 feet off the foul line, and they are controlled by a manual control box. And when the ball is hit, one of two bases will randomly be switched on. The batter has to listen to those bases and run to the one that's buzzing to try to record a run. So sometimes you'll see a cord come loose and all that, but I think they're ready to go, Rosina. Bottom of the first.
Okay, Tim giving a little instruction to Casey as he brings the bat back down low over his hip. And it's a hard bouncing clobber right along over on third baseline. It just ran past Darius's arms, out of Eds. They're scrambling to get the ball. He is going to be safe. That is the first run for the Lookouts.
How about that? The first run in World Series history scored by the Oklahoma Lookouts is scored by one of their founders, Casey Bond. 1 in, nobody out. 4-1. Look out, here comes Oklahoma.
So it's going to be Mark Ivy up to bat, and he is a lefty. But yeah, that was an amazing hit there for Casey, right along the line. It just barely passed Darius's outstretched hands as he dove for the ball. Just right behind him was Ed backing him up. Just could not get that ball up to get him out in time. So that did give that run for Casey. And it was Mark, lefty for the Lookouts.
He's a rookie. He's a good-looking rookie. He missed much the regular season, the local tournaments, because of a shoulder injury, but I'm told he is fully healthy now and raring to go.
Hard slobber bouncing down over into center, right past Mike Finn.
It's taken him forever to get to the base.
No, Mark's coming back to the ball. We have a call out on the ball.
Oh, did it hit the pitcher? Well, it looks like we're going to have a redo.
Might be Ed.
Mike Woodard will explain.
Don't touch it. Giving up on a base like we do, like there is in ASA.
So it looks like there's
a question about that call. Mike Woodard, the head umpire for the game, has come over to the scorer's table to check and see, because it looked like Mark Ivy stopped running as if either he thought it was going to be a foul ball or he didn't hear the base or something. I don't think that...
Well, they yelled dead ball.
If somebody yelled dead ball, I didn't hear it, but that was a very strange play there with Mark Ivy.
Oh, yeah.
So they are making their way out into deep center to go check on the ball. Everybody's just standing around kind of away from the ball. So
turn on first base, and just keep it on. That's a new thing this year.
Well, and again, and he's a rookie, but you know, if somebody yells dead ball, you still run that thing out, because if you score the run, it's a dead ball, but maybe it's not dead. You know, the worst that could happen is you have to redo it. The best that can happen is you score and the ump can still hear the ball and you record a run. So I think this is going to be ruled a dead ball and he's going to come back, but I don't think Mike has made that decision officially yet.
He is headed back with the ball.
Don't you worry, baby. I'll run that out next time.
All right, there you go. And Mark Ivy here, the Oklahoma native, and now fully healthy and ready to go, and
Chuckling at the plate.
assures us that he's going to run it out next time, come heck or high water.
Well, hopefully it's only heck, not high water.
I don't think, and we looked this week because it is Oklahoma and the weather can be somewhat interesting here at some times, but I don't think we're even going to get much cloud cover this week.
Yeah, there is not a cloud in the sky right now. It's
only
beautiful blue.
The only sensible weather you're going to feel is the heat.
And hopefully, we're going to hope that this breeze holds out through today and actually hopefully through the whole week. We've had some years it has been blisteringly hot and no air movement at all.
Wichita a couple years ago. Yeah, Wichita was an example, I think, a couple years ago where, at least for the first part of the week, it just baked and there wasn't a whole lot of wind either.
And then we had Beaumont last year with all the storms that everybody ran for cover. We do have a new ball here chosen out. It's going to come back out to Tim. And hear the beeping on that. We should be good to go until somebody socks the sound out of it.
We will give you any score updates that come in. I've got various sources throughout the park. There are, like I said, 8 other games going on right now, and if we get any score updates to pass along, we'll be sure to do so. And if you're listening in and you know of any other scores and you know how to get a hold of me,
We do have that base check for Mark.
Mark Ivy.
Refueling along home plate.
So that was a dead ball then, Rosita, and he's been
Yes.
brought back to the plate. So very long time ago, but I don't think there's a count because I think that was the first pitch of the
That was
at-bat.
his first pitch. It's on the outside of his bat, popping up, bouncing over foul. That went about 15 to 18 feet up in the air, but only about 10 feet out, and then bouncing foul on the left.
Hey, right idea though. He got airtime, and that's what Tim Hivner's going to want to do here to try to score runs with this team is to put the ball on top of their bat. Oklahoma can hit the ball, but they don't have the most power or speed.
Oh, that ball was right up over. That was a very, very fast swing by Mark. Another one clobbered right up over Tim's head, over into center, and landed down about 80 to 100 feet out. Ronnie, he is safe. That is going to be another run for the Lookouts.
Look at Oklahoma here, too, on the board before any outs are recorded, and it's going to take some runs to win this game, Rosina. It's 4-2 here in the bottom of the first. Nobody out.
That dropped right behind Finn, and Ed ran from over in left field to try to cover him, but just not getting that in time. That's going to bring Aaron up to bat. Aaron Higby for the Lookouts.
I didn't hear
He's
it.
got his black
No,
bandana.
Again, we had our umpire checking at the scorer's table to see if any of us heard a double hit, which would have made it a foul ball if that had happened, but I don't think that happened. I think it just came off his bat weird, and so it sounded like it was a double hit, but what it really was I think in on his hands. Either way, the run counts.
Nice little drop ball, just barely going past the pitcher's line. Darius running up, scrambling for the ball. He has him. He is out. Darius scrambling to make up for the last one.
He's one of the best in the game when it comes to picking up the short balls. He's a guardian of the 40-foot line, I like to call him. And if we didn't mention it earlier, there is a 40-foot arc in this game. The ball has to cross the 40-foot arc to be in fair territory, so you can't just plop one down right in front of the plate. And the reason for that is simple. It's safety. You've got a pitcher standing at 20 feet, and all the players are wearing blindfolds, and so what you don't want are defenders charging into your pitcher or into a base runner, and so they have that 40-foot arc, and the ball's required to go over that arc. And so Darius is a very good short defender to get up there and pick that up, so that's the first out of the inning for Oklahoma. 2 runs on the board.
Bringing Kyle up to bat, another lefty, as we had a brief holdout in the field with some new setups for the Blackhawks out on defense, but they are ready to go now. Getting a nod from Kyle for the base check.
The other half of the Ivy brothers. He's another lefty too, as you can tell.
Oh, that ball was a little low on the outside, or a high swing by Kyle. Get some instruction there from Tim. Again, ball a little bit low on the outside of that bat. Kyle kind of has his body turned just a little bit towards the pitcher. And a solid bouncer. Tim had to bend out of the way, drop down to the ground, right in center, right into Mike, though, and Mike just scoops that up, and that is going to be an out for Mike.
So the strength of the Austin defense is up the middle with Darius, who we mentioned, and Mike Finn, who's a perennial all-star and was recently inducted in the NBBA Hall of Fame. That is where their top defenders are. Now, it's interesting you mentioned that Kyle Ivy was set up, turned a little bit toward the pitcher. As a lefty, that might indicate that they want him to try to hit it to right field. And instead, he hit it up the middle, and that's 2 outs.
So this is going to bring Leia Werner up to bat for the Blackhawks. She is a right-handed pitcher. She's got a black cap on, getting that base check.
And I want to say she came to Oklahoma from the Philly Fire.
Oh, and just tipped off, rolled back over to the right side of our table here behind the home plate.
You will see, new team or not new team, you will see Oklahoma putting the ball in play. Tim Hibner is a 4-time world champion pitcher. He was the pitcher for the West Coast Dogs 4-year dynasty run from 2008 to 2011, so he's been here before.
It's going to be a pop-up right over and up. That is going to be foul along the first base side. Actually, just bounced off the base of first base and then went over into play, but that is still a foul ball.
Do you want pictures of that?
There is, in addition to the 40-foot minimum arc, there is a line at 170 feet out in the outfield, and if the ball goes over that on the fly, it is considered a home run and counts for 2 runs.
Oh, she's again socked it right over to her teammates. Actually hit somebody in the knee. It would have been Greg McDuffie had hit in the knee, standing over there under their tent. So she's very consistently hitting right over on the first base side.
Yeah, she's not getting around fast enough on it, but she is at least making contact. Yep.
Oh, a little bit low and under that swing.
And that's the end of the inning. Hey, but not bad, though. If you're Oklahoma, you got 2 runs back. And so headed to the second, it's the Austin Blackhawks 4, Oklahoma Lookouts 2, and Mike Finn will be leading it off in the top of the second for Austin.
As he skipped his way in frantically from out in the field doing his traditional, I believe I've seen those on some of his videos, his health videos, at high skipping jump there as he made his way back into.
Mike Finn is a personal trainer and a fitness expert, and he posts a lot of fitness and health and wellness related videos to help out the NBBA and its players stay in shape all season long.
Trying to get a look at that mask that Brock is wearing. It looks like it has a broccoli on one side, and I cannot tell if that is cheese or a piece of pizza of some sort on his blindfold. Just very interesting.
Broccoli and pizza. I don't know about all that.
Might be cheese, but yeah, Mike is. Yeah, it's definitely like a chunk. I think it's a chunk of cheese is on the other side, over each eye on his blindfold. But we do have Mike coming up to home plate, kind of raising that bat with one hand up over his shoulders as he waits.
We mentioned Tim Hibner won 4 championships with the West Coast Dogs from 08 to 11. Mike Finn was on those teams. He won 4 titles there. He had already won 3. Then he won 2 with the Austin Blackhawks when the great Kevin Simpson was still pitching there. So Mike Finn has 9 total championships in his career, as I recall.
And getting another check on bases is a second base check. Mike with the bat up high, now pulling it down over the shoulder and ready for the pitch. Oh, and just tipping it, but it's dropping right down and rolling back to the catcher.
Molly's been all over their bats. She struck out 2 in the first inning, but they scored 4 runs.
Definitely waiting. That traffic is now quieted down. Oh, that a little bit late on that swing. It's a nice placement. Oh, that was a little high on the outside. Definitely always on the outside of Mike's bat there. He definitely must like it right there on the edge.
Well, and when he gets the pitch he likes, he hits almost due up the middle. He's not really as much of a pull hitter as some of the players you'll see.
And that is going to be out for Mike, bringing Brock up. His team coming up to still give him a pat on the back.
Mike Finn doesn't strike out very often, so let's see if the youngster in this game anyway, second-year player Daniel Brock, can pick him up.
He's got his gloves packed into his back pocket as he gets that base check.
Austin came into this game as the number 7 seed in the tournament. Oklahoma, the number 14 seed. So Austin definitely favored in this game, but right now we're 4-2 here in the second.
Oh, with a little bit on the outside, and just under the bat.
Austin made a pretty amazing run last year at the World Series and ended up finishing 3rd. You saw some of that. You got to call some of their run late in that week.
And it's going to be right. Is it going to? It is going to be foul over on the first base side.
The Blackhawks came out last year and they were given the number 10 overall seed, as I remember, in that tournament last year. They went out
way up to 3rd.
They beat the Jets, and then they turned around. They beat the Indy Thunder, as I recall. You called that game. And then they gave the Indy Edge a good game for a while there too, before finally bowing out to San Antonio. But they took 3rd. That's back-to-back 3rd-place finishes for Austin. And what do they get in there for the reward? They get the 7th seed this year. So they're trying to prove it again.
Oh, and tipping up.
Right back to us. That means they were right on it. That came right back to our table. We are almost directly behind home plate here.
I just kind of kicked that ball forward for him with my foot
Yeah,
there.
nice soccer play there.
I'm there for the assist, DB.
Yeah. You can be in charge of all foul balls. How about that?
Wow. I won't comment on that. I don't know if I want to be in charge of all foul balls.
Ooh, 2 straight strikeouts to start the inning, though, now, and you wonder if Austin's feeling a little bit of heat. Oklahoma had a little 2-run uprising as a first-time team here.
Coming up, bringing Drew. So, yeah, they definitely need to get some more runs on the board here if they want to take charge of this game early.
Drew Burnett scored on a well-placed ball last inning. He was the one who put it right there toward the line.
Yeah, it ran right along the line. It was a beautiful play. Nice, easy run to the base. Oh, swing just a touch early at that bat, sitting right gently on his shoulder and swing. That was just a hair too soon. Molly adjusting her feet just a little, tiptoeing there. And that one was a little high and outside. Refeeling and adjusting where he is located to home plate with the bat and his fingers, rotating those shoulders before bringing it back up and ready for the pitch. Oh, and that is going to be another strike. This is devastating for the Blackhawks.
They're up, they're down, they're right there, but not making the contact. This is a big pitch right here in this game. 2 outs, no runs in the top of the second. 2-run lead for Austin.
And again, swinging just a hair too early, and that is going to be out for Andrew and for the Blackhawks.
Struck out the side, Rosina.
Yeah, just struck that out. Wind picked up there a little bit as the Lookouts are coming back in for another chance at bat, trying to even up the score. And the Blackhawks are going to have to go out there and play some defense and get back up to bat again and try to widen this gap. A 2-run game is very close. Anybody's options. So we're going to have to get some serious this early in the week and have to buckle down and play some ball.
My wife made me.
And for Oklahoma, the 2 who scored in the first inning, Casey Bond and Mark Ivy, they will be up in this inning. They will be 2nd and 3rd up.
Then we have Jay Teagle up to bat first. He did not get a chance to bat for the Lookouts earlier, so he is another lefty.
Jay's got some speed. He was in the fastest runner competition yesterday and actually made the finals, made the top 5 in that event. So he does have some quickness to the base.
Gonna have to get some connection there with Tim and get that ball into play so he can put that speed into action. Got a lot of sound off out there from the Blackhawks in the field, trying to pump up some adrenaline and get their teammates ready to go.
Blackhawks defense needs to pick up their pitcher right now because they struck out the side of that. In fact, they've struck out 4 straight now going back to the first inning, and we've got a ball game here right now early, 4-2. Here comes Oklahoma.
A lot of breeze. Tim coming up to speak with the ump and the coach from the Blackhawks.
Tim Hibner's been around a long time. Even before his days with the West Coast Dogs, he pitched for the old Oklahoma City team, the Oklahoma City Bombers. The OKC Bombers had a team throughout the 90s and into the first part of this century, and they used to have a big old regional tournament right up the road in Midwest City, Oklahoma. One of the larger local tournaments that ran for about 10 or 15 years. So it's nice to see it back in Oklahoma.
Oh, ball just barely off of Jay's bat there. Just dropping a little low. Got even more breeze picking up. Jay taking a deep breath. And slamming it out into right center field. Oh, they're not even close. They're kind of stumbling for that ball. Turn around, now they're running far back in the field. He missed the base and still had time to come back around and make it safe.
Boy, that was kind of a slow developing play all around there as the ball got through the defenders, but JT Goal missed the base and still had time, as you said, to come back and get it. And it's a 1-run game now. And that's what you want from the bottom of your lineup. And now here comes the top.
This would be Casey up for the Lookouts. Yeah, that was a great, it's kind of a confusing play there for Jay, but he did get the job done. If they'd been a little bit quicker out there in the field, he might not have got that run. You don't often get a second chance to come back around to make that run. Got a base check. Casey tapping home plate, swinging that bat up over the shoulder and dropping it down to his hip. Slamming it out into far left. Oh, Darius ran the wrong way. It dropped at him. Had Ed coming up scrambling for the ball. But
both sides it's a close play. Both sides are acting like they made the play.
I had somebody between me and the base. I'm not sure if that was a safe or an out.
Number?
Oh, that was a put out, I believe, by Ed Manning, I believe.
Manning. Boy, that was a bang play, and Mike made the call. He was in good position, made better position than we were to see the play, and so that's 1 out. And Austin needed that. I think they're starting to figure out they're going to have to D it up because Oklahoma's putting it in play. They're coming right at them here.
I was going to bring Mark up to bat. He's resting bat patiently. The bat down on home plate.
And he's 1 for 1.
Got some reset up again out in the field by the Blackhawks, moving some people around.
I'm impressed with the way Oklahoma has come out to start this game.
It's nice to see this from a new team. And some of the team being fairly experienced, some of the team being fairly new. But getting out there and playing some good-looking ball, not looking like they're stumbling everywhere. They're out here, they're in it, they're here for the World Series, and they know they're here to play.
Well, and they've practiced like crazy, and it shows.
Hard slobber almost took off Tim's head, going out into right field. He rolled his body over the top of it, scrambling back. He is going to be safe, though. That's going to be another run for the Lookouts, making that a tie game, 4-4 DB.
So we have got a brand new ball game here, and if Oklahoma keeps putting it in play, they do have the last at bat, so they're going to have the final say. And I'm not going to say that nobody expected this, but you got a 14 seed and a 7 seed going at it here. Austin looks like they've come out just a little sluggish, and Oklahoma's come out on fire.
Yeah, definitely. When I said earlier, two-run game is not a sure thing there. They've definitely pulled up those 2 runs, and this is going to bring Aaron Higbee up, giving his team the thumbs up out here on home plate. this really is anybody's game.
Absolutely, and there's still only one out here in the bottom of the second, so they can try to take the lead and maybe try to take charge a little here.
There's just a lot of stumbling out there in the defense out there, just not quite scrambling and getting to that ball in time. Aaron taking a couple practice swings there with his hand as we get a base check. Swinging that back up over the shoulders.
He's got some pop in his bat too if Tim hits him right.
Oh, just narrowly missing. That's going to be a strike. And some straighting. High pop-up out into center. That's about 100 feet high. It's dropping just behind Mike. It fell over as he was reaching for it. It is hard run to first base. An easy run there. That's going to put them in the lead.
That's well done, and that's 3 of the last 4 batters have scored for Oklahoma. They're on a little bit of a roll, and that got good hang time. Landed behind Mike Finn, so you know if that lands in front of him, Mike's as good about as anyone at smothering pop-ups. But you know, put it in the right place, and he got off to a head start because the ball was in the air. Look at this, still only 1 out.
He demolished first base over there, completely separated it, and took it about another 5 additional feet in pieces as he plowed into that. We're headed back out into the field. We got umpire out here. We've got all the players converging out here on Mike. Now, I did mention that he fell over. It landed behind him, and he tried to turn around to get to that ball, and he fell over. So, I'm going to see if we're all checking on Mike or what is going to be happening out here in the field.
I wonder, is this a third base issue again here, maybe?
Well, we're all converged right out in the spot where Mike was, not at any bases.
While we have a moment, we want to thank a couple of our sponsors here. New View, Oklahoma, help provide volunteers and some logistical support here for this World Series. The Delta Gamma Foundation gave us a generous grant to help with officials, umpires, and scorekeepers. Just a couple of the sponsors of National Beat Baseball Association, Beat Baseball, and the 2023 World Series. This is the 47th World Series in the NBBA. There's been a World Series every year since 1976, except for the year 2000, which the pandemic got in the way of that World Series.
I do believe that is Mike getting on the cart and headed off the field.
And that's not good.
He is sitting in the golf cart. Oh, no, that is not Mike. That's somebody
Maybe
else.
2020 was the pandemic, not 2000.
I thought I said
No, you said
2020.
2000.
Who was it?
I said 2020. Missy, our scorekeeper's giving me a hard time over here, but I'm more interested to find out who's being taken off the field here.
It might be. I think it's one of the spotters.
Okay.
She might have stumbled as well. I was focusing on Finn.
And you wonder, you've said that footing has looked like it's been an issue.
Going to come in and spot Holly.
I can't imagine. So that was Holly. They'll take Holly out, and Jono's
Holly
going to come
Whittier.
in. Coach Jonathan Fleming, fondly called Jono, so Coach is going to go out there and take her place spotting. One.
Saying, I guess.
You heard him one.
She tripped over one of the spots.
So it is going to bring Kyle up to bat after we get everybody reset and the new spotter out here ready to continue on. I'm sure the Lookouts are hoping is to continue to widen that gap as they have that 1-run lead over the Blackhawks, and they will try to make that even more.
No kidding. 1-run lead with only 1 out in the inning, and Kyle coming up, so you've got another lefty, and Oklahoma looking good right now. We're early, but I feel good if I'm on the Oklahoma Lookout sideline.
This is looking really good for Oklahoma to start this early in the week to help give that momentum, adrenaline, and mental boost. Have that base check and ready for the pitch. Tim giving some instruction. Oh, and the ball's going to be a little bit low under that bat by about 3 inches.
One thing you may have noticed so far is even though both teams have the option of a passed ball, neither one takes one.
Oh, that one was just bare slid over the top of it by about a half an inch.
So they're swinging. You're not going to see a lot of takes. Austin never takes a pitch, and apparently Oklahoma doesn't either. I haven't seen one yet.
Oh, it bounced down right at Tim's feet, almost up to his gut, centered right. Mike jumped in front of it, but he did not stop it. And he is going to be another run that keeps widening for Oklahoma. Blackhawks are going to have to double down and get serious.
That is surprising because that was a ground ball pretty much right up the middle. That's one that you usually will see Austin suck up, but not there. 6-4, still only one out.
Yeah, he did. Mike did throw his body down to catch it, but he was just going down as the ball was rolling past him. So if he would have been 2 seconds earlier, he would have had that right in the gut. But he did not. It was behind him, and that was all it took for them to make that run, bringing Leah Werner up to bat.
It's been a 4-run inning so far for the Lookouts, and they're not done yet.
Some new changes out, moving Mike a little bit more over from center over towards right field.
And that makes sense because they've been going that way quite a bit.
And getting that base check, Leah turning her head to listen. Tim telling her swing hard. And she does, right over into right, popped right into his hands. He's just got to get it up, and she is out. And I think that was Drew that got that. Yep, it was Andrew Burnett.
So they've got putouts now from 3 different defenders: Darius, Mike Finn in the first, and now Drew Burnett. So that's the second out. That's the good news, is that Austin's getting contributions from various players. The bad news is they've still got to get a third out here. Jay Teagle is 1 for 1.
They're definitely, they now have outs from widespread across the field, but they need to do it more often.
Agreed.
Let's bring, again, Jay is another left batter. For the Lookouts, we have an at ease as some more movement and changes out in the field on the Blackhawks. Now they are ready. Jay still having that slight turn towards the pitcher more than most of the other batters have been. Oh, just barely skimming over the top of that ball. If he connects with that, he's going to run. And he does, slams it down to the ground, bounces past the pitcher. He's kind of running wild. Darius is going to scoop that up, and that is going to be another momentum and defense for the Blackhawks as they're going to now make their way up to bat and try to stop the progression.
But a good inning for the Oklahoma Lookouts. They put 4 on the board and lead 6-4 heading to the third. And I believe that they are taking a 5-minute water break after the second and fourth innings because of the heat to make sure the athletes stay hydrated.
They are taking a quick little break.
And our plate umpire has said start the 5-minute timer, so we've got 5 minutes to talk a little bit of beat baseball here. I start out by inviting everybody to visit the NBBA website at www.nbba.org. You can find information about contacting existing teams if you know somebody who wants to play, starting up a new team. You can find the rules and an explanation of how the game is played and all sorts of information about beat baseball at nbba.org. We are also streaming live on Facebook, NBBA 76. We have our YouTube channel, National Beat Baseball Association. Look that up. And we are all over social media just for you all. Again, we are at Gillis Rother Soccer Complex in Norman, Oklahoma, not too far from the University of Oklahoma. And you know, Rosina, we're pretty privileged to have this event here because Oklahoma, this area is really the softball capital of the world. if you think about the College Softball World Series is hosted in Oklahoma City every year, and right now, the Sooners of the University of Oklahoma women's softball, 3-time defending national champions.
Now, there's a lot going on here. You wouldn't think of it. Quite a few teams are almost all taking breaks at the same time. Kind of ironic that I can see from here. There are 2 games. One still in play, but 2 that are taking water breaks that are in this section that we are at. Definitely the Braze is keeping everybody cooler. If you are out here volunteering, please stay hydrated, drink some water. We appreciate all your efforts. This cannot be done without volunteers. If you are listening, maybe you are interested and you want to volunteer in your area or for a team. It's not just about the players. If you know somebody who would like to play, absolutely help them find a team. But we're also looking for volunteers. We can't make this happen without them, so definitely look into it. I myself started volunteering years ago to do this. It's a fun day outside, getting some fresh air, watching some interesting ball games. It kind of becomes a family event. You will see families out here, the teammates playing, their kids are playing on the sidelines, coaches, families, volunteers are bringing their families into it. It's a fun, good, enjoyable day, healthy competition.
Well, and you see some family connections even on these 2 teams here that we have today. Well, you got the Ivy brothers, of course, playing for Oklahoma. The Simpson family with Jamie and Wayne and Rusty Reams. And he's now retired, but Kevin Simpson, he's always in my thoughts. Boy, what a character he was for the game. And so a lot of family involvement here.
And sometimes you can even make it your family. It doesn't have to be by blood. You can create a family all your own. Who says it has to be blood?
That's right. We've had connections. We've had 3rd and even 4th generation beat ballers now, if you will. We've had people meet and beat baseball and end up getting married. And beat baseball really does reach beyond just the on-the-field play.
Got to have games going and tournaments year-round, DB. What are some of the tournaments that led up to this World Series this year?
Well, the first tournament that I attended this year was the Indy Beat Ball Bonanza over in Indianapolis at North Central High School over there. They've had that tournament going for the last 21 years. And so that was the first weekend of June. And there was the big tournament just outside Chicago in Bolingbrook, hosted by the Lions clubs up there, the Bolingbrook Beat Ball Bash. The Austin Blackhawks competed in that tournament. And then both of these 2 teams competed in the Mind's Eye Gateway Regional event in St. Charles, Missouri, at the facility where the 2024 and 2025 NBBA World Series will be hosted. Out in the St. Louis area, there was also a couple of tournaments down in the state of Texas. I know Oklahoma competed in one in Dallas back in June. The East Coast teams have their own tournament called the Beast of the East, which is actually a double-leg tournament. They play it over 2 different weekends in 2 different cities. And so a lot of beat ball going on around the country, even outside of the NBBA World Series. But it all culminates with this event. This is the one that everybody gears up for. 19 teams from around the country are here, and they're all going for the same thing, which is the NBBA championship, which was won last year by the Indy Edge. The Edge are the only team not playing right now this morning. They have a bye. Pool A had 3 teams because there's 19 total, and so as the top seed, the Edge get a bye. They'll get going here later.
Moment there, and
yep.
Take advantage of that before they hit it hard. So do you have any early predictions, DB, for the Ultimate Tournament? It's always nice to have a come from behind, but what are your early predictions with not having seen everybody here yet this week?
Well, I might be cheating a little bit here, but I like what I'm seeing. If you want a dark horse team that might be able to move up the rankings a little bit, this Oklahoma team certainly looks like it could. I'll tell you what, I've seen a lot of the BSO Philly Fire this year, and they got the number 4 seed. But let me tell you something. If they play at their highest level, they can beat any team here. And I'm waiting to see I expect the Philly Fire to make a deep run. The Jets will be back again this year. You saw them in the championship game the last couple years. The Indy Edge, of course, they're the defending champs. And then that deep 20-player roster that the Indy Thunder have.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see those top 4, whoever they might be, suck it out and battle it out.
And we'll have the 5 and 6 seeds later on today. We'll see Gateway and Bayou City up close and personal, and we'll see if one of those teams really looks like they could crack that top 4. But right now, I think there's really 4 teams that have separated themselves, and then everybody else is trying to sort of break into that group.
We do have the Lookouts starting to make their way back out to the field after their water break.
So to reset, it is 6-4 Oklahoma. Austin coming to bat in the top of the 3rd inning. Austin scored all 4 of their runs in the 1st. Oklahoma came back with 2 in the bottom of the 1st and then 4 in the bottom of the 2nd to account for the 6-4 Oklahoma Lookout lead.
At the station.
So still setting up out in the field, almost finished. We'll be prepared to conquer this next inning. Molly doing a little dance out there, keeping her knees limber. She has that typical when Molly pitches, she kind of has her arms go up a little bit, both of them kind of almost like a shrug, as she says ready out to the people behind her to let them know. Then they kind of pop down right before she pitches. It's right before her cadence. Kind of an interesting concept of doing that with both of her hands, both of her shoulders equally.
Mike Woodard says, let's play ball. So here we go.
We are now ready. And it's a little on the outside. This is Mariano up with his longhorn mask. Oh, another one just barely on the outside edge of that bat and a little low. Taking a deep breath, wiping his face. Bat at the ready. And again, another on the outside and low. Just under the swing.
Boy, they're still trying to get back in the groove of making contact. It's been a while since Austin's put one in play.
And this is desperately needed. A deep breath by Mariano. And a high pop-up out in the center. It's just dropped right behind the second line of defense. Oh, he scooped it up. That is, I believe, going to be...
What a great play.
That was, I think that was Aaron.
Who was that?
69, Aaron Higbee.
Yeah, I think that was...
Nice play by the rookie, man. That, you know, when it gets past the second line like that, you think it's going to be a run. And those are heartbreakers. That's what I call them when somebody makes a play deep like that. Now, the upside for Austin is that was solid contact, and they needed that. Downside is Higbee made the play, 1 out.
He's going to bring Ed up to bat. Molly comes back up to her pitcher spot. Got some carts delivering some much needed hydration in cups. Get a base check. Ed tapping home plate with his bat.
Blue,
Stepping back a step.
Blue, I have a sub, just so you know.
Ed making solid contact right over Molly's head in the center, going about 100 feet before dropping. Aaron rushing for it, but no, he is safe. That is going to be Ed with a little bit of speed there over to first base.
So that'll make it 6-5 and bring up the top of the Austin batting order. That's an important run there out of your 6th spot for Ed Manning.
Aaron was hustling for that out in the field, just could not quite make it in time.
Wait, was someone from Austin standing next to you when you?
They look like they've solved the contact problem now. Molly has found her groove again, if you will.
Hopefully they can maintain that and keep that groove going. Coach keeping Darius's shoulders loose there. He gives him a few massage rubs and then slaps him on the back as he steps back.
What's your substitution?
Up at bat when Oklahoma comes out.
Few movements out there on defense in the field and a practice slow swing by Darius across home plate. We get that base check. Hard hit, but it's going to be fouled right over to the cameras and the tents over on our first base side.
Man, Tim's not your pitcher anymore. You're still trying to hit him.
Chuckling there that they were trying to hit their ex-pitcher Tim over there on the sidelines.
Darius 1 for 2. He scored his first time. Struck out his last time up.
Oh, a little low on the outside. And it's a little bit on the slow on the swing.
Well, and that's another reason a ball can appear to go outside, is if he's late swinging the bat.
And a nice clobber, but that is also going to be foul over on the first base side. Not between the line and the bench tents over there. So not quite hitting anybody this time. Darius coming back again from partway down to third base.
So here we go.
And a little bit of an overstretch there on the swing, and that is going to be out. It was almost like a mirror repeat echo there with the here we go earlier, DD. It's going to bring Mike.
That's 2 down in the inning. 2 down, 1 run in. Darius Sterling, that's his 2nd strikeout of the game, and the unfortunate part of that is Darius has a lot of speed, but you can't steal first or third base. All the speed does no good if you don't put the ball in play. So that's a free out there for Oklahoma.
So we have
2
that
outs.
base check. Mike had his little wiggle that Molly requested before the pitch. Oh, just underneath that.
Boy, if they can get Mike Finn, they can get out of this inning with the lead still, and that would be big for Oklahoma.
Mike with a little bit of tape on the top of his head. And, oh, just a light little tick there, making a touch of contact. Not even relaxing for Mike. He is ready to go. It's going to be another one and just a narrow miss.
1 strike away, and they don't take, so he's going to be swinging here.
And he's underneath that by about
Blue
2
eye
inches.
whistle for Oklahoma.
Boy, that is an unfortunate way for the inning to end. Backups, back-to-back strikeouts again of Sterling and Finn at the top of the lineup, and Oklahoma's coming up in the bottom of the 3rd, leading 6-5 as the Blackhawks only get 1. Oklahoma's got a substitution. The designated hitter was Casey Bond. He is coming out. He will be replaced by Bob Selby, so you can put Selby in the number 1 spot, the leadoff spot in the Oklahoma order.
And that is going to have Bob up to bat now. needs to stand at ease. He was a little bit ready for a pitch there, but got to definitely make time for the Austin Blackhawks to make their way and set up with their spotter out in the field, taking their positions, getting moved around into the optimum prime piece of real estate to try to collect on some of those balls that they're going to hope to be scooping up here a little bit quicker this time out in the field. They definitely need to get on that defense and stop the Oklahoma team.
You know, we're only in the bottom of the third going into here, and so it's still early, but just like any other sport, when you're the lower seed, and you're a new team, the longer you're in a game, the more you feel like you might be able to win it.
And the Blackhawks also need to, they cannot let this set their momentum. You know, they might be, it's early in the game, but they don't want to wait too long. They don't want to let this set and become a pattern for them. So yeah, this is going to be Bob up at bat, right-handed for the Lookouts. Oh, there was a pass right there.
First one of the game by either team. He took it. Bob Selby has some previous playing experience with the St. Louis Firing Squad.
And a hard one over into left, just past Darius. Oh, barely past Ed's outstretched fingers. He's meandering over to, I think, but they might have him out. He is out, just not making it to the base in time. He kind of had a little bit of a wobble out there as he was not running straight to the base, and that was all it took. And that is going to be.
Heather, who was that?
Is that Mariano that made that
58.
play? No, let's see. Who made that play? 58.
That is going to be
Davion Perez, the rookie, the designated fielder. First put out of his beat ball career in the World Series for Davion. He's a good-looking rookie, too. We saw him at the Gateway Tournament, and he was making plays there, too. So,
yeah, it was just barely past Ed's outstretched fingers. He had them up over his head, but it was just past his reach. Scrambling out there in the field, but Bob did not have that straight beat line, and that was all it took.
Right, it just took Bob Selby too long to get the base there, that's all. And
it's going to be Mark Ivy up to bat for the Lookouts.
I believe Mark Ivy's 2 for 2 today.
There's a nice leaning forward batting stance. Oh, swinging just a hair early. He was swinging awful hard, almost threw himself over there. Reset back up. Oh, barely missed that. Swung so hard, but caught himself with the bat back down on the grass to steady himself to keep from falling over.
Sometimes a smooth swing is better than trying to kill it.
Oh, that one was a little late. You could hear Tim kind of grunt there. Just trying to find that sweet spot there for his batter.
Let's
Oh,
see
Tim's telling him to take one.
see if he does take it, yeah.
Oh, he did not. Bounced on the ground right in the center, right at Tim's feet. Bounced up, but right into Darius. One-handed, scooped it up, and he is out.
Solid play by Darius. You're not going to get many by him when you hit one straight to him, and so that's the second out of the inning. As we're seeing the defenses start to tighten a little bit here now as this game gets into its middle stages.
Definitely starting to pick up on that defense, and they definitely need to do that. They need to play that good defense, bring themselves back up to bat as quickly as possible, and get those runs on the board. This is going to be Aaron Higbee up to bat with his star-spangled bandana on his head. It's black with red and white stripes and blue stars all over it. Playing America's pastime. Oh, just underneath that pitch. Hard swing there.
He wants to get that airtime like they did last time. Remember, he popped that ball.
The more time in the air, the more time to the base. Oh, he took a pass. starting to see a lot more passes this later portion.
Well, we've seen 2 now from Oklahoma, both in this inning. Austin hasn't taken one in years, probably. but-
Austin took one.
Did
that
they?
last one. Mike took that one. I think it was Mike. Or, no, Ed. Somebody took a pass. And a hard slammer out into left. Oh, right past the rookies. There's no way they're going to get that in time. He is easily safe.
That's
They're
a-
still scrambling for that with that.
It's a great hit. That's the hardest hit of the game by Oklahoma so far. So that they earned
Davion
that.
scrambling to go back there to get it, but that was way out there beyond the possibilities of catching that before he made it to the base.
2 out runs, man. You talk about momentum. So now, see, that's big for Oklahoma because instead of going up, 3 down, now they've extended their lead. They're up by 2. And now you get Kyle Ivey at the plate. Repeat it again. I am impressed with what I'm seeing from Oklahoma here.
This is very good for a new team.
Absolutely.
I hate to see a team come in and get clobbered when they're a new team and maybe lose some of that joy of the game their first time out. So definitely good to see them get a little dirt in there, digging their feet in and taking a bite out of this World Series.
And for anyone in the area that's listening to this stream, you guys got a legit hometown team here. You might want to try to come out to Gillis Rother Soccer Complex here in Norman. Check out some beat ball.
Get that base check and ready for the pitch. Solid grounder out into right. Oh, just barely. Oh, everybody just barely missing it, running the wrong way. He is going to be safe.
They have got to get somebody in right field who can cut off those balls. Oklahoma is making hay hitting the ball to right field right now. That's 4 or 5 runs that they have scored over there, middle to the right or to the right side. And I wonder if Austin will switch things up and get somebody over there.
Yeah, they had just moved over Davion Perez from left field and brought him over into center. He was running from center out into right field, but there was just no way he was going to make that in time. There's a little Mike Finn. I think that was that was Mariano. I believe Mariano out there running to grab that, but he jumped the wrong way in front of the ball and just the ball went right past him. There was just no way they were going to get that before they hit that base.
Largest lead of the game now for Oklahoma. 3 runs, 8-5.
Bringing Lyle Warner up to bat. Swing hard instruction. And she does. Pops up right back over into our ump's hands. Catches that. Tosses it right back to Tim. A little bit of a scooping swing there. Just barely missing that. And this time making connection. It's running right along the line. I think it is going to stay. It's barely
fair.
inside the line. He knocked it with his body out, but he's got it, and she is going to be out.
Ooh, that was close.
Drew with the put out. He slid his body over to grab it, knocked the ball into past the line as it was just barely over. But that is a nice, easy out for Drew.
I thought when he sort of knocked it away there for a second that Leah might get a chance to score there, but good second effort by Drew Burnett, who's a veteran. He knows how to play this game. But 2 big 2-out runs for Oklahoma. They're all big now. Halfway through the game, Rosina.
And
Don't
they're
look
leading
now.
by 3.
Don't look now, but an 8-5 lead for the Lookouts.
Yeah, it definitely has to have them sitting pretty, feeling pretty good right now, no matter what happens in this game. But a wonderful first game start for them to have that momentum, that mental push of, we're here and we mean business. It's wonderful to say that. When you're coming here and there's 19 teams, it's nice to put it into action and to feel that.
And that's exactly what's happened here. And so now, if you're the veteran, well-coached, well-disciplined Austin Blackhawks, you really got to refocus, and you know you've got the second half of this game, and you can score runs. But Oklahoma's got the last at bat, so Austin needs to start now. Did we get another sub?
Yes. DF is getting pulled out for
Have some
Ashley
subs
Malero,
coming in.
Who is number?
Looks like Ashley Malero. Looks like the DF spot is going to change. So
She's 54.
looks like Ashley
54,
Malero will come in, and Davion Perez will go out. He made a play. His reward for making a play is he's coming out. Let me make sure. I think that's Davion. That is the DF.
Yep, Davion.
Yeah. So Davion's out, and Ashley Malero's in. Only on defense. That's your flex position as we head to the top of the fourth. So that won't matter until we go to the bottom of the fourth, but they reported the substitution now.
That's going to have Daniel Brock up to bat, and it definitely is a piece of cheese. It's broccoli and cheese on his mask. It's not pizza, folks. It is cheese. That was really bothering me, so I just wanted to make sure I made that clear to everybody else.
Fiber's important.
We have Molly Fleming with her pitcher's helmet there, covered with stickers as well, as we're getting a base check. You can hear that ball beeping over with the pitcher. A deep exhale breath.
Here we go.
And it's a nice connection from Daniel, just barely
In
past
play.
that 40-foot line. They're scrambling for. Oh, they missed the ball, and he was going to be safe. Slid past the ball, tried to connect.
When you
Not getting
charge
it
the
in time.
40-foot line, you got to field those balls cleanly. Brock ran a good base, too, and that helps when you run a fast base like that. Good start for Austin in the fourth as they try to come back here. 8-6.
It's going to bring Andrew to bat.
So Austin comes back and puts one on the board. Now you've got the bottom half of their lineup up here and see what they can do. Drew Burnett scored once today. Ed Manning has scored once today from the 6th spot. So they've gotten some contributions down there.
Getting that base check.
And who is going to step up now on defense for Oklahoma? It was Aaron Higbee last inning who made a play.
Here we go.
Man, that's going to be a slight miss by about 3 inches under that bat. Rewinding up, bat over the shoulder.
Here we go.
And a narrow miss there. Barely could see any space between the bat and the ball. Readjusting feet, shrug of the shoulders, and bat up over and ready.
Here we go.
And a solid connection over on the third base side, about 10 feet inside the line, going far out past the third. There's the Ivy brother, missed the base, comes back far, and he is safe. That is the second time we've seen a miss, and they have time to come back and get that save.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Rosina. It's the second missed base we've seen this game, but neither one of them cost a base runner because they were both able to come back and touch the base. And now it's 8-7, and Austin scored the first 2 runs of this inning as they try to snatch control back here.
So it should be Mariano up to bat for the Blackhawks, giving a little as he waits patiently at home plate.
8-7 Oklahoma, nobody out, top of the 4th inning, Austin up to bat.
You hear a lot of golf carts roaming around behind us as they deliver supplies to the teams and the volunteers, scorekeepers, and all the helpers out here today. Thank you for that.
We have 9 fields spread out throughout this complex, and so that's how they get around with the various supplies.
And Mariano with the dropped bat lower than his hip behind him. And that's going to be a strike as he narrowly misses that by about 3 inches. And an early swing.
Molly's sort of chuckling, shaking that off. Tying run at the plate here for the Blackhawks.
And a little on the outside. And another by Mariano. And a solid connection over into right, dropped right just by the first line. It's rolling past Aaron. He's got, and he is going to be easily safe. Aaron dropped down to grab that, but missed it. Had to get up and turn around and run back for it again, but not making that in time. And what is that going to do for the Blackhawks?
That ties it up at 8. 8-8, 3 in a row in, and Austin's starting to look a little more like themselves now. As Ed Manning, who scored last time, comes up in the 6th spot.
Starting to feel their momentum kick up. Austin is starting to get into their groove.
Did I mess up the count? It's 8-8.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm doing a speech to text.
Oh, okay.
Defensive timeout here as Tim heads out to the field.
So they've called an official defensive timeout as 3 runs have come in now in the 4th, and that's not a bad idea for Tim Hibner to try to circle the wagon with his defense and also maybe stop the timing and the rhythm of the pitcher here as they've put 3 solid balls in play here. Well, the first one was more of a shorty, but these last 2 were well hit. And
it might have been a shorty, but it still got the job done, and it gets that mental momentum going. One feeds off the other. It's hard to combat that when you're repeatedly getting out and they're repeatedly making runs. It kind of mental anguish there can definitely play out. Getting a call for a possible new ball.
You're so demanding.
we've been doing well on balls so far in this game, at least. Fingers crossed. It looks like I think this is about our second or third ball change
I
of
think
the
this
game.
is the second.
So not terrible.
Not too bad. Hopefully we can keep that going this week and have plenty of nice balls to choose from near the end of the week. Ed refinding home plate with the tip of his bat. Up. Ed would like to hold there for just a second. We've got some noisy traffic letting the ball pass over the plate as he steps back away from it as they practice with that new ball. Molly said she feels confident, so she's ready. Ed makes his way back to the plate.
Don't forget to drink.
Quick tap on home plate. Gonna get a base check.
Water, ideally, after that. I put your other one in my cooler.
Bat back up at the ready. Kind of angled down. And a hard swing just underneath the ball by about an inch and a half.
Trying to get the top of that bat, trying to get some air on the ball and give Ed a better chance to get down the baseline and score. It worked once for him.
Yeah, nice clobber dropped at Molly's feet, going right out into center, sliding out in the field. Aaron and oh, they're saying safe, but I think this might be contested out here.
We'll see if Mike can go and check this out. Mike
I
Woodard.
think he's gonna maintain it. He doesn't. Well, he's gonna go down and.
He'll check,
No,
but
I think he's checking just to make sure the base is correct. I think he's gonna maintain that.
yeah, it was a pretty quick, decisive safe call. So that run's gonna count. That's gonna put Austin back up 9-8.
One run. That was a close play there in the field.
So the 3, 4, 5, and 6 batters score to start this inning. Now you've got the top of the lineup. Still nobody out. Austin back up by 1. And you've got to feel like this is a little bit of danger time now for the new Oklahoma Lookouts. Austin looks like they've gotten on a roll here.
They're feeling back to who they are and ready to play with Darius up at bat. Nice little slow swing with the bat across the plate. Exhaling and ready. And that swinging a little bit high. The ball was about 3 or 4 inches under the bat. And a hard clobber over into right field. I bet that is going to be out. I'm
Good
pretty
play.
sure that was Aaron Higby.
Higby?
69, Aaron Higby again. He's been their defensive standout, and that was a big play with Darius' speed there.
Definitely, he just scooped that right up.
That stops the bleeding. That stops a 4-run rally for Austin, and that's the first out now of the top of the 4th.
We got Mike Finn at the plate doing his little hip wiggle there as he waits for everybody to settle down. Staying loose and limber. Encouragement from his teammates on the bench.
Finn with a couple of strikeouts in this game, which is unusual for him. I think he's due here. Let's see if he gets a good pop.
Quick shrug of that bat up high, then pulling it back behind the shoulders. And the ball a little high at 3 inches over the bat. And that one, the ball under the bat by about 3 to 4 inches. Oh, almost making connection there. That was very close. If the correction keeps going, he should clobber this one. And now that was a little bit low and out, so that is going to be another strikeout for Mike.
Yeah, he can't. That's unfortunate. He can't be happy about that. That's a hat trick on strikeouts in this game, man. 3 of them for him. And look at this. All of a sudden now, see, you make a defensive play, you stop a run. Now there's 2 outs, and Oklahoma's got a chance to get out of this, only down a run, and coming to bat with the final in the bottom half of the inning.
Making sure everybody is ready out in the field. Coach giving Finn a little instruction over there out behind the batting circle outside their tent over on our left. Because again, this is Brock up, Daniel Brock up at bat, getting that base check for the Blackhawks. Molly kind of tipping her head back and forth, side to side, and smiling. She's all ready. And a little on the outside of that swing.
Brock scored a couple, so he's off to a good start.
And that one was right in the nice center of the bat, but just a little high. Brock twisting up, a nice exhale, re-gripping the bat before bringing it over his shoulder. And that's going to be another strike. That was right there on the bat.
1 strike away from changing up sides. It's a big pitch here.
And a hard clob or over high into left. It's going to drop short. They're going to have to get to it in time, but you're not going to mess with that speed there. He was making no bones about where he was going as he headed towards third. There was no waver, no swing, no arc. That was a mad dash.
What a clutch pitch and swing by Molly Fleming and Daniel Brock. So that's another run on the board with 2 outs. That is the 5th run of the inning now. And it's a 2-run lead for Austin. And Drew Burnett coming back up.
He is up at the plate with his A's hat on backwards.
Yes.
Just for you. Yeah.
Recent movement over there on our defensive team, moving our short player from left field over more into center. And a base check. And a hard clobber pop up right in center by Andrew, going about 100 feet, then dropping straight down, rolling barely. They're just not going to scramble in time. He is going to be safe. Andrew out there was trying to scramble to get to it, almost had it bounced off of his hands, just not getting to that ball in time.
That is a tough play, and we all are seeing balls bouncing away a little bit. You know, the grass is nice and the fields are running true, but this is still pretty hard ground, and so when they're popped up high and they bounce, and they hit that hard ground, they are liable to bounce around a little bit, and that is what the key was there. And so Drew Burnett scores. There's another one, and now they're starting to extend the lead a little bit here, as it's 11-8 Austin. 2 outs, top of the 4th.
This is Mariano up at bat. Yeah, the fields are definitely running fast. Any motion, any touch to them, if you don't have it in your hands, it's just going to bounce away from you. Strong exhale by Mariano as he brings that bat back down over his hip, low. Oh, a nice swing, but it was just underneath the bat. Good placement.
Mariano, a native originally of Argentina, and he led the charge to bring the Blackhawks down to help teach some beep baseball to the folks of Argentina a few years ago.
Oh, another one, just a narrow miss there.
They spent a week down there, and unfortunately, and that was during the fall of 2019, and just as they were getting that program jump-started down there in Argentina, COVID-19 happened in 2020, and so hopefully they can get that back up and going.
And a nice little drop hit. It's going to barely make it past the 40-foot line. They're going to... Oh, they just went past it. Can he grab the ball?
He overran it.
No, Mariano is safe.
Oh, that's
just
a defensive
not quick
mistake.
Enough. They're not. He was right at the ball. It just wasn't a matter of getting it to his hands. It was more down by his feet as he was kneeling and just not grabbing it as fast. Mariano making a quick last-minute curve at the base, about 2 steps away from it, and just slamming into it.
Yeah, we're seeing some growing pains from Oklahoma as a first-year team. They've got to clean it up on defense to stay competitive, especially with the higher-seeded teams. You have to clean it up on defense and pick up ground balls and short balls and so forth. So now it is 12-8. That is the 7th run of the inning.
got the shade right now.
So I'll get a 4-run lead here for the Blackhawks with Ed up at bat.
And they need to shut it down here because you don't want Darius and Mike Finn coming up to bat again in this inning. Even though Finn's been struggling a little bit, that's your speed for Austin, and those are your star players. So they need to get the 6th spot in the lineup right here and get back under the tent and bat.
A quick plate tap by Ed. And the ball high up over the bat.
I like that, Ed. I like that, Ed. Do it again.
Oh, and I have chilled water straight out on my ice cube if you want.
Nice hard hit, almost hitting Molly. It's down, it's on the ground in center. They just got to get to it. They're scrambling, and he is going to. Oh.
Yep.
Trying to see what they're calling. I think that was
He called
safe.
him safe. He said
I
that
was
ball was
watching
not off the
field,
ground.
so I did not quite see him actually hit the base.
Nope. He ran down to third base, and Mike Woodard called him safe. That's another run for Austin, the 8th of the inning for the Blackhawks. This has been a breakout inning for Austin. They started the inning down by 3. They're now up 5. It's 13-8.
Darius, a nice little hop there at home plate. Yeah, definitely feeling their momentum. They're getting back in their groove. They're starting to feel like the team that they know they are, and they're here to play some ball.
Yeah, it took them a few innings, but they've woken up now, and we'll see if Oklahoma can answer. But they've got to stop this. They got to stop this inning first, and this outburst here by Austin.
Had her base check and ready for the pitch. And a solid hit over into right field by Darius. Oh, bouncing off of Aaron's feet. But nope, Darius is at the base. There's no even close suggestion on that.
Nice effort by Aaron Higbee, but Austin's got it rolling now. They've really got it cooking. 9th run of the inning.
You almost missed
I'm
it.
not 100% positive.
Yeah, that was a nice solid hit. It was on the ground. A good defensive team that's been playing for years together, knowing how to speak to one another, probably would have had that. But you can't mess with that kind of speed.
No, and this game is moving a little fast for Oklahoma, it seems like right now. Their defense just is a step or so slow trying to get these balls, and it can. The game, once you start, some runs start scoring and you're playing a team like Austin, the game can start speeding up on you a little bit if you're a new team. And so, but everything that's happening right now is going to make Oklahoma better. It may not feel like that to them right now. They've been baking out there for quite a while on defense, but this is going to make them better as the week goes on.
Is Mike Finn up to bat after a quick hug from pitcher Molly? A tap from Mike straight down to the ground. That will be foul.
Yeah, this is the one thing I think you still want it to figure out if you're Austin. You want to get Mike Finn going. If not for this game, then for later in the games.
Another nice tip.
Oh, there you go. There's
Mike,
another
and I
one
caught
for you.
another one with my foot.
There's another one, Rosina.
That's my second sort of assist.
Give this girl a contract.
I almost wish I had more than flip-flops on.
Yeah. 15-10. Alright. We got a...
And that is going to be a solid hit for Mike there on the ground over into right field. It's going to be right into Aaron's arms. Scoop that up,
Good
and
play
that is going
by
to be an
Aaron
out.
Higbee.
He's been scrambling for several of those, not quite getting him, but that was just an easy pickup.
Yeah, he'd been close on a few, but he finally got that one, and the inning is finally over. But a breakout inning for the Austin Blackhawks, a 9 spot on the board, and it's 14-8 Austin going to the bottom of the 4th. We've got a score update to report. It's a final from over in Bracket E. One of the teams we're going to see later, the Bayou City Heat, in a run rule beat Atlanta. That game ended 15-10, but it was a run rule early. Of course, we have the 12-run mercy rule, if you will, and so sounds like Bayou City off to a good start there. Still waiting for some other scores to come in. We'll pass them along when and if we get them as we head to the bottom of the fourth. We hope that you're enjoying the broadcast, Rosina Foster and myself, DB Dave Benny, and that you're enjoying the camera work and video from Graham Mathena and company from Live Event Productions. They are producing our streams today and throughout the week.
Definitely thank you to all those volunteers that are getting out here today with us.
The entire history.
Running water, running health and medical supplies, balls, all our scorekeepers, our base runners. Thank you for all the people who assist and make this week possible for all the players out here at the soccer complex. Got a lot of sound outs out there from the Blackhawks on defense. The last 2 innings, they're definitely starting to feel themselves back into a more verbally talkative team out there with each other than they were at the very beginning of this morning.
Another update from the game opposite this one in Pool D. The Philly Fire have gone into the 12-run rule over the SGV Panthers. That game is 13-1 in the third. So Philly off to a good start as well, as some of the higher seeded teams start to open up action this morning. Game on, Rosina, bottom of the fourth.
So this is Jay up for the Sooners, left-handed batter. Tim calling ready. Very fast cadence there, and ball a little high up over the bat. Ready for another pitch. High clobber center, dropping just right at the second line, right behind Ed though, and that's going to be picked up. That was Mike with that put out, picking up right behind Ed.
One of the better middle defenders in the game, and you saw it there as now Austin's defense starts to assert itself as they've got all of the momentum now, 1 out.
This is going to be Bob Selby up to bat. See if he can make it to the base this time. It was a little bit wavery the last time, kind of swerved around a little bit instead of a nice straight line. Definitely not quite hearing that base maybe as well as he might have wanted to, and kind of cost him that run.
Yes, I agree. It was the base run that allowed the Austin defense to make the play on him last time. See if he can straighten it out a little bit this time.
Got a base check and a quick swing and readjustment of his stance there from Tim. Bat at the ready. Oh, and he took that pass. Nice level swing over the plate, is he? Nice clobber. It's on grounder down over into right field, just past the first set of defense. Mariano over there trying to... And I believe that is an out by Mariano out there.
It was Mariano Reynoso in right field on the play. I thought maybe we'd hear it mentioned on defense a little bit because of all the lefties on the Oklahoma team. That was over to the right field side, and again, just not enough speed by Selby to beat that out.
Now we'll bring Mark up.
And that's 2 defensive plays to start the inning for the Blackhawks, and Oklahoma needs a run here from Mark Ivy in the worst way.
They needed something terrible.
6-run lead for the Blackhawks on the strength of that 9-run top of the fourth.
A yawn out there by Tim. Some changes up there out, moving some of the short defensive play out there in short right. And I think we are ready. Mark winding up. And a little bit low. Stepping back off a home plate. Shrugging of the shoulders and bat up and ready. And a little bit slow on that swing again. Seems to be almost hesitating.
I think that Tim Hibner was a little frustrated by that one even there. He thought he was going to have it.
We have a hold. Yeah, I think we're ready to go again. And again, it's like there's a slight hesitation there from Mark.
So 3 strikes now. An important pitch here.
And this one was a little under. It was so close for Mark. All of those.
Some frustration by Hibner there.
And that's
I didn't
gonna,
realize we're moving
for the
19
Blackhawks,
field 4.
it's definitely gonna be a positive move as they come up here to bat. They're starting to feel not easy, but a little more like themselves, and like they can just settle and play ball instead of worrying. They were a little behind there early in the game, missing a few plays, but they seem to have settled down and they're just playing some ball now.
Well, that was a pivotal 4th inning in this game because the Blackhawks put up 9 on offense, didn't give up any runs on defense, and as we take our second 5-minute comfort break here of the game, now at the end of the 4th inning, a little game reset here. Austin started out with 2 runs in the top of the 1st. Oklahoma got 4 back to take the lead in the bottom. I'm sorry, Austin scored 4. Oklahoma got 2 back in the bottom of the 1st, then held Austin off the scoreboard, took the lead in the 2nd and extended it, and actually had a 3-run lead at one point, 8-5 in this game. And then the top of the 4th came around and Austin put up 9. And that's where we are now, 14-8. Austin going to be coming up in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, they're sitting pretty right now. They're starting to feel more comfortable with who they are. They're going to take this break. They're going to go back out here up to bat. And they're just going to be swinging and hitting. You got some amazing hitters coming up. They're just going to be slamming that ball. And we've seen a little struggle on the defense here for the Oklahoma team. So they really need to get down after that ball a little bit quicker. They're getting down, but they don't seem to be moving as quickly and scrambling for that with that desperation yet.
Well, really the difference here has been the defense for both teams, especially here toward the later portions of the game. Experience matters. Austin has it. Oklahoma, they've practiced a ton this year. They've worked hard to get here, but there's nothing like real game World Series action, and it starts to speed up a little bit. You've got fast fields, and Austin's just been relentless here as of late in terms of putting balls in play, and so this really looks now like Austin is on the verge of pulling away. But again, Oklahoma scored 5 runs in one of their innings. All they need to do is have a shutdown top of the 5th, and they could get back into the game. On the other side of the coin, though, if Austin puts up a crooked number in this inning, at some point you start running out of outs, and Oklahoma's down to 6 of them now. They have the last at-bats, but we're getting late now as we go to the top of the 5th, and a 6-run Austin Blackhawks lead.
Yeah, that's definitely not where Oklahoma wants to come in when they have that last bat. They don't want to have that many runs to make up on that. They want to be able to come in and swoop in and take it over, not do so much of a come from behind. You really want it a little bit closer. So they're going to have to really buckle down on defense out there and keep this gap from widening anymore so they can get up there and they can try to take control of this. This is some really good game time experience for them, as far as not most of these players have played before, but just playing together in a smooth consistency, speaking, responding to one another, almost like knowing each other's second nature. So this is really going to come into play for them this week.
Team defense is a matter of repetitions and consistency, playing as a unit. And so that's why you see teams, especially the newer teams, start off the week sometimes looking a little bit rough, but by the end of the World Series, by the time all is said and done, they look more like a well-oiled machine because win, lose, or draw, they're getting all of that experience and that work together. And when it comes to team defense, that's really what you have to have. You can't just throw 6 even really good athletes together on the field and say, here, play defense. Communication is so important in this sport because they're playing by ear. They're not seeing one another. And so verbal communication is essential, and that's something that you have to learn. Zone discipline as far as how far you need to go and where you need to be to try to cover your teammates and while avoiding, collisions and situations like that so you can cover the whole field. That's important. And that comes with repetition. So as we head to the top of the 5th, while we're waiting for the water break to end, I want to give a shout out to another one of our fine sponsors, Jersey Mike's. And the fine folks at Jersey Mike's, they're going to be providing lunch for our competitors one day this week. And so we sure appreciate, over the last several years, Jersey Mike's has been awfully good to the NBBA.
So yeah, you have, talking about that experience, they come out here and they might have played in tournaments and they practice a lot together, but there's nothing like being out here 3 games every day, day after day after day. That's really when that meshing works together. They're going to start building more of a rapport. So this is going to really help this Oklahoma team out, not just for this World Series, but in the future. Because there's nothing like day after day, game after game after game play than just one game or 2 or 3 games, one weekend, a couple times a year.
Sure, practice is great, but there's nothing that can make up for real-world experience, and that's what they're getting now here today. And Oklahoma they've played to this point a respectable game. They were leading for a couple of innings, and they're still in it. It's certainly not a blowout, and let's see what happens now these last 2 innings of the game.
We do have some of the Oklahoma teams starting to make their way out into left field with their spotter out on that side. Now some of the spotter and players are making their way out into the right half of the field. And Tim also heading out toward the center. So we will be seeing the Blackhawks up to bat fairly soon. Molly making her way out to talk with our ump and to receive the ball. Casey getting a little bit more direction from Tim out there in short center.
And Molly is having a really good game pitching. That's the other thing we haven't mentioned. She's had a little stretch there where they struggled in the 2nd and the 3rd inning. But, this is Molly's first year as a full-time starter for Austin. Now, obviously, she's got pitching experience as their second pitcher when Tim Hibner was there, and also pitching for the women of our league.
Yep.
But this is her first year as a starting pitcher at the World Series. And so we weren't sure exactly what to expect, and she's pitched very well.
About ready to play with Brock up at bat for the Blackhawks as he's standing at ease, resting with his hands on the top of his bat. Relax from the ump.
Looks like Faith Penn is coming in. Faith Penn, 63, will come in, and Ed Manning coming out. And
Blackhawks.
Faith in for Ed.
Who's out?
And we were talking about that score from the Heat and the Chaos earlier. I heard last night that the Chaos team, actually, their bats were lost
No, he was a DH, you're right.
in travel. So they were hoping that they would show up sometime today from the airlines. So they're all playing with borrowed bats that they can beg from other teams.
48.
So that also hurts a team.
yeah, I had heard about that. That's unbelievable. Of all the things that could get lost by an airlines, the bats that you need as you're going to the World Series of baseball. You can't get any more unlucky than that. And it was nice that a few teams pitched in to let them use some bats until hopefully their bats can arrive.
Yeah, hopefully they are found today, and we'll get them so they'll have them for the rest of the week.
That's why I carry on, Rosina. That's why I carry on. Can't lose it if it's in my hand.
Changes.
Ed, right?
Yeah.
For Faith.
McDuffie's going after Bobson.
Oh, somebody's in for bobbles. Oh, Greg McDuffie is in for Bob Selby.
which we don't have to worry about right now because that was
That's
the
on the
DH.
field, yeah.
Why they're not waiting until they're up to bat to sub out their DHs is, a little interesting, but that's okay.
And a high pop-up over into center, just a hair or two left, bouncing back over to center, and he is going to be safe. It dropped just barely into left field, but then bounced hard over into center, and they just didn't even go after it.
So Daniel Brock looks like he has straightened out whatever may have been ailing his swing here. Not really so much this game, but watching him in the local tournaments, he wasn't getting it going like he did all of last year until just recently. But now that's the Daniel Brock we were seeing at last year's World Series, and that's the reason he got an all-star invite to the event last year. And so he's going to be a big key for them as they advance in this tournament. Brock is. You know what you're getting with Sterling and Finn, but Brock in that third spot. And Drew Burnett here too, who's looked good today, scoring a couple of runs.
Oh, a little bit high.
Not sure pretty quick on the draw, DB.
And a high. It's going to come back over to the left side. Coming back up to the plate. Resetting that bat along the front corner.
And that rustling y'all may or may not be hearing is the wind blowing our papers literally all over the table. Rosina's saved me twice now. We have the scorekeeper just to our left.
And a hard hit over into left, just barely inside the... It's going to be fair. It's outside the line now, and it's a race, but he is going to be safe.
Drew Burnett scores again. Austin continues to pile on now as they're pulling away.
That was Mark Ivy rushing to get there in time, but just not. I mean, it was a mad dash. That ball had some speed on it, and like I said, this grass is fast, and it's going to keep moving.
That's 11 unanswered runs now scored by the Blackhawks. At one time, we were talking about Oklahoma having a 3-run lead. Well, guess what? Now it's an 8-run Blackhawks lead. And still nobody out in the top of the fifth.
It's going to be Mariano up to bat, waiting patiently for Molly to come back with the ball. Got some pointing instruction going on and verbal instruction from the spotter out in the field with the defensive players.
Our plate umpire for this game is Mike Woodard. Our official scorekeeper is Missy Lykowski.
And a base check there. Deep exhale for Mariano. Bat down at the hip. And a nice hit, grounder over into right field. Just past Kyle's arms, but that is going to be Aaron. He does pick it up.
He got it.
Another one by Aaron Higbee.
It was a close play. That's 3 putouts I count for him on the day. And 4 putouts, actually. 1 early on, but 4 putouts lead the Lookouts defense, and that's 1 down.
Bring Faith Penn up to bat for her first at bat for the Blackhawks this morning.
She entered the game in the 6th spot in place of Ed Manning.
A little bit of a back arch as she stretches there to prepare for the swings. Nice exhale, leaning forward, bat at the ready. Now relaxing as we have a dumpster back in the distance. We do have to pause whenever there's loud noises that interfere with the players' hearing. And we are ready.
Here we go.
A little bit of a slow swing there, just barely above the ball. And just barely over the top of that one, much closer. Nice connection. It's going to be a pop-up foul just over to the third base side, about 40 feet out.
We have another update for you. The Archers are winning their game comfortably over the Minnesota Millers, and the San Antonio Jets won their game comfortably over the St. Louis Sirens. That is not a surprise. What is of note in that game is David Smith has hit the first home run here at the NBBA World Series for the Jets. Thanks to Neil McDonald for that update.
Nice hit, tapping just behind Molly, going down, bouncing off of Casey's feet as he slows it down, stops it. Can he hustle it and get it? She is
Just
out.
got her. Just got her. Kate made us a little nervous with that, but he got it up. Mike Woodard was right on that call.
That is Casey.
I don't have him in the field.
Did they ever re-enter
Number
him?
11?
He was DH, and then Selby
Correct.
came in for him.
That's news to me. I'm not supposed to say anything.
Nope. They may.
Hey, Jen.
It looks like Casey Bond got that put out, and we don't have any record of them re-entering him in the game. So we'll see if the other side catches it, because they can't call that from the scorer's table. But we got a little bit of inside information sitting here at this scorer's table, and
Getting a base check there for Darius.
Okay. Last you told me Casey was in the DH, but never in the field. Did I miss something?
He's down here.
Oh, you're right. Okay, my bad. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jen.
Nice hit right along the line. I believe that is going to be foul. It slides out. I think that was Kyle over there on that side sliding for the ball.
That was a kosher for Casey.
Who did he come back in for?
Leo Werner. I
Okay.
forgot.
Yeah.
So we never mentioned it, but Casey Bond re-entered the game for Leah Werner, and that's why he was out there on defense. He started as the DH, came out, and then re-entered. We do have a 6-out re-entry rule, so you are allowed to take a player out and then put them back in, and that's what they did, and so that's why Bond is out there on defense. So that was a legit substitution. We just didn't get it here. But the scorer got it, which is what matters.
Pop up in center, just dropping behind Casey by about 3 to 5 feet. They're scrambling from behind. But you know Darius, he's got that speed, and he is on top of that.
Got that speed, so with 2 outs, you can add another run on the board. That's the 17th for the Austin Blackhawks. 9-run lead now.
It's going to bring Mike Finn back up with the hoo-ha-ha call from the team. Seeing if he can make it to the base this time. He's had several strikeouts, and then last time he did get the ball, but didn't quite make it to the base in time. So let's see if he can add another run up for his team. He's got that little dancing wiggle going on before he swings. And a laugh with his pitcher, Molly. Some instruction for Casey to move and adjust a little more towards center out in the field. And the base check. And dropping just under the bat. And he hit the ball, but it dropped straight down plate and did not go anywhere.
I just got a second report that David Smith did in fact hit a home run for the Jets in that game against
So
the
that
Sirens.
is official. All right.
Well, I'll say I have 2 witnesses.
Okay.
So
As official as we can get
it's about
right
as
now.
official as we can get.
Ball dropping just underneath the bat.
If that's true, that would be David Smith's second home run of the year. He hit one in Bolingbrook, too.
That tip hit. Dropping back to the catcher. Staying alive chant from the bench. And not quite as close. It's going to be another strike for Mike. That's really harsh for him.
That is. That's 4 strikeouts in the game for Mike Finn. You don't see that very often at all. That's the bad news, but the good news for the Blackhawks is they had a couple of more
I just
runs.
moved your water here because it was sitting in the sun.
Thank you.
And so it's 17-8. Oklahoma's chasing 9 now as we go to the bottom of the 5th.
They're not quite as chipper as they're coming off the field now, DB. They're a little bit slower.
The sun feels just a little bit hotter when you're trailing in a game than it does when you're leading. Everything feels a little bit more uncomfortable, and so Oklahoma's just going to have to stay with it. Again, they've played a competitive game. I think that they've shown themselves very well for it being their first game. Austin just woke up the bats here in the last couple of innings, and it's a 9-run game, and it was a 9-run top of the 4th inning. That's the difference in your game right now. Other than that top of the 4th inning, it's been played pretty even, Steven.
And it's been a pretty good game for the Oklahoma team. They need to pick up a little bit more. Aaron is going to be up at bat, and he's been doing a lot defensively for his team out there. Been a lot of catch-ups and picking up. Some of those have just been bouncing off the fingers. It's a really fast, hard field out there.
2.
So it's going to be hard to make those just easy scoops unless you've really curved your body right around that ball. So any out there is definitely going to be a hard and well-earned effort.
Oh no, that's 2:30. No, that's 2:30. That's 2:30.
And you're going to hear
We're just taking a
some,
break.
you're going to hear some background conversation as officials confer.
We're taking a break.
For right now, anyway, we are set up at the main scorers and officials table here behind home plate. So occasionally, and now you hear the world's loudest beep ball. No, it's a car alarm.
And it's
is
in the
what it
parking
is.
lot. That's a heck of a beat ball. I'd hate to hit that. I'm calling for quiet so we can continue. Instruction from Tim to step off the plate. Stretch of the arms from Aaron. Gripping of the bat.
Oh, come on.
And they can't play through that, so we'll have to call a timeout, and that's right to our right.
Oh, we got the Blackhawks all day. No. Blackhawks, Panthers.
All right, ready for that again.
Oh, I put your water in my cooler.
Bat back at the ready. And the ball was just under the bat there.
You feel like if Oklahoma can score 1 run here and get going again, maybe they can string some together. They haven't scored since the 3rd. I mean,
Get just over the top of that ball. Kind of bouncing around on the balls of his feet there. Bat back and at the ready. High pop up. I can't even see how that must have gone up 120 feet straight in the air, dropping down. And that gave him time to hit there to the ball.
That's what you want if you're the Oklahoma Lookouts. A nice high-hanging pop-up. He scores, and they're back on the board for the first time since the third inning now.
That's
17-9.
It just dropped right behind Ashley Malero, but it was so high that when it hit, I mean, he was already 3/4 of the way to first base.
That's the way you want to do it if you've got a speedy runner, which he is.
It's going to bring Kyle Ivey up to bat.
I like what I've seen from Aaron Higbee on both sides of the ball so far this game for Oklahoma. He's really been one of the bright spots for them.
Definitely pulling things together both offensively and defensively. Left-handed hitter. Hard hit right down the center, narrowly missing Tim. Right past, over there to,
Good
I
play.
think that is, that is Mike Finn.
Mike Finn, yep. That was a Finn-looking play. You know, like we said, he's as good as it gets up the middle.
Oh, that was Mariano.
Oh, Mariano
Moved in
came over
behind
and
him.
got it. Okay. All right. That's what I
Oh,
thought.
was
So
it?
it was Mike Finn. All right. We were right the first time.
That looked like
It did not
Mike.
look like Mariano coming all the way from right field. That was even to a blind
Left
guy,
field,
that,
yeah.
that looked like a Mike Finn play to me.
I mean, Mike came still from pretty far over, but
Mike's been doing that for a long time, man.
gonna bring Casey up to bat. His black, white, and gold batting gloves. Yeah, Mike is in far back left, and Mario is even further left, but up shorter. Right behind Darius.
Philly fired this one.
All right, so that Philly Fire game we mentioned earlier is a final.
And ball way high over the bat by a good 8 inches.
That will be Oklahoma's opponent in the next game. Will be the Philly Fire. Austin will play the SGV Panthers.
And a little bit closer. About 4 inches over the bat.
I'm looking.
Taking a pass on that one.
Ooh, surprised me a little bit. They took a pitch there. Tim pitching quickly.
Tap off it, spinning off his bat right back over to us. Dropping just behind Casey.
And for those who are interested in following along, we are on Tourney Machine.
It's gonna pop over. I'm not sure if it's gonna. I just barely rolled over the 40-foot line. Darius is scrambling for the ball. He's got it, and he has him out.
Again, it's just a matter of not getting down to the base fast enough. It wasn't, a bang play where Darius came right up and fielded it when he was halfway to the baseline, but he just had enough time to pick it up. So
He scrambled for a
Little more
second or
speed.
two and then had it.
a little more speed might have done it, but as it is, and Darius is one of the top defenders in the game today. So second out of the inning.
And Jay up to home plate. Another left-handed hitter for the Lookouts. In their red jerseys. Waiting for the field to set. And the ball just over the top of the center of the bat. Just underneath the bat.
You see how fast he's pitching now? Tim, for some reason, is speeding up his pace here. Now he's not, but yep.
Took a pass.
He's throwing a pitch now about every less than 10 seconds here. He's about to throw another one.
And high up over the bat. It's almost like he's in a competition.
Yeah, he's really...
Get Jay leaning towards the pitcher. And tipping the ball, dropping straight down to the catcher. popping up. I believe that's going to roll right back.
How dare you?
It went about 15 feet out and then rolled back.
So he'll come all the way back.
Are you going to turn off?
And while he's coming all the way back, we'll remind you that tournament scores are available from Tourney Machine. Go to the Tourney Machine app, search for Oklahoma, and then beat baseball. And you should find our tournament on Tourney Machine. Also, John Lykowski Jr., our social media specialist, is posting photographs. He's a professional photographer, Lykowski Studios. Check them out. He's also selling calendars here for $15 a piece with some choice photos from the 2023 season. And he'll be posting final scores from all games.
Just over the top,
And that's a
going to be
strikeout.
an out.
That's 3.
So that's 3 outs in the inning. Oklahoma got 1 run, but that's not what they were looking for. It's 17-9 now. Austin leading, heading to the 6th.
Mike skipping his way back
I didn't
in
realize
to his
we're not
bench
here.
again as the rest of the Blackhawks follow along behind.
They're not filming. Just
Lookouts feeling that burn of that only that 1 run. It did at least break that momentum of having nothing, but it's not going to be enough to put those runs if they don't get more runs up on the board.
While we have a moment, I want to recognize our stream team and the support staff that make Rosina and I sound so good. Our producer, Graham Mathenia and company from Live Event Productions. Our public relations director for the NBBA is Richie Flores. Our tournament director, Cassie Hopkins. And the president of the National Beat Baseball Association is Jerry Wendell. We're heading to the top of the 6th in what will be our first of 2 Game of the Day streams today. If you want to check out the second one, we don't have one in the second time slot, but coming up at 2:30 this afternoon be the Gateway Archers and the Bayou City Heat. And then when the brackets are drawn for the double elimination, we will decide what the Game of the Day games will be for tomorrow. And then each day thereafter, we know they will be winners bracket games, and we're looking for the most competitive games, and we can find in each time slot to bring to you. So be checking back with the NBBA Facebook page later this evening to find out what the Game of the Day streams will be tomorrow. We know that the women of our league game, the exhibition game, will be streamed tomorrow evening. Richie Flores will be hanging with Rosina for that one as I get the evening off.
It's going to bring Brock up to bat for the Blackhawks on their 17-9 game. Solid bouncing hit over into right field. It's now slowed down on, and he has it. And that is
Oh, and Mike said ball's on the ground. The ball has to be off the ground, under control, away from the body for possession to be complete.
he did not have it far enough away from his body. It was in his hands, but he did not have it away from his body. That would have been Mark Ivy.
Boy.
So that is going to be a hard lesson for a new team.
Yep, you got to have it off the body. So, and to complete the possession. And so close play. Daniel Brock safe. 18 runs now.
18-9.
18 on the board now as they've doubled up Oklahoma. 18-9.
With Andrew up to bat. Yeah, that's definitely a harsh lesson in your first game, but it does have to be up, not only in control, but away from the body.
Right.
Got that base check, gripping of the bat, and ready for the pitch. Ball a little bit farther on the edge of the bat.
Drew Burnett was the leading put-out man. Well, no, second leading put-out player for the Houston Hurricanes last year, so he was a pretty big pickup defensively as well as offensively for Austin.
Hard hit. That's going to be foul. That was about 6 inches outside the line there. But it was a good 120 feet out before it dropped. So. 105.
You hear the head coach of the Austin Blackhawks, Jonathan, a.k.a. Jono Fleming.
That definitely would have had him time to get to the base if that had been fair.
They want the same thing, only between the lines for Drew this time, if they can get it.
Definitely got to color inside the lines. Play fair. Hard pop up into center, dropping down right in front of Casey. He's going over,
Maybe.
struggling. He's got to get it up though, and he is
got
out. That is an out for Casey. Kind of.
Oh, play was a little bit slow to develop, but I thought that Casey was going to be able to get that one, and he did.
He definitely had it. He was calm about that. Felt around, got the ball, and had it up in the air.
So that's the first out of the inning now. First out of the top of the sixth as we get down toward the bottom of the Blackhawks batting order.
Nice pop up, Drew, but it landed in his lap.
It's going to bring Mariano up to bat. Got a nod that he's ready for that base check. Nice strong exhale. Bat down at the hip. Ball just above the bat. Wiping the sweat off of his face and bat back at the ready.
Indy Thunder have won their game over the Braille Bandits. We can report that that's a final. I didn't get the numbers, but
This one dropping just under the bat.
so we know the top 6 seeds have all won their games. We're still, and of course this is the 7 against the 14. Still waiting for a couple of finals to come in.
Ball a little on the outside and a late swing.
Cleveland and the Chicago Comets were still going on the last I heard, so I'm interested to see if we can get a score from there. Talk about a couple of rivals facing off in the first game of a World Series.
Oh, another late swing. That's going to make for another strike. And an out.
So that's the second out of the inning now, with 1 run in here in this inning for Austin. And it'll be Faith Penn batting in Ed Manning's spot. Faith put it in play last time, but got put out. Oklahoma will have the top of their lineup coming up in the bottom of the 6th for their last at-bats.
So we got Faith doing a nice back stretch there at the plate. When Faith connects with that ball, she can really put it out there. Seen her hit some pretty amazing hits. Nice connection, almost hitting Molly, going out just behind Casey. He slid, but it went under his leg.
one's
She's
got a
running for the
chance.
base. It's behind them, and Faith is going to be safe. That is a run for Faith Penn for the Blackhawks.
Good for her. She gets limited playing time. She comes in and she scores a run now.
Hopping up and down over there by first base after being declared safe. It's got to feel good. She's smiling. She walks back up past Molly Fleming. You'll be seeing more of Faith later in the Wool game tomorrow night. Big smile. She heads off the field, bringing Darius Sterling back up, hopping at home plate, ready to repeat some of his previous hits.
And that gives the Blackhawks a double-digit lead as they now lead 19-9. It was 8-5 Oklahoma after 3.
And just shows you what a game can change.
Austin has scored 14 of the last 15 runs.
A little high and on the outside as he laughs. It's easy to laugh when you're ahead. Nice hard hit down on the ground, over into right field, out into the second, straight over to Kyle. It's bouncing on his leg. Oh, off his fingers. And you can't mess with that when Darius is running. It just popped out of his fingers. He didn't have a full hand on it. Bounced off his legs, reached down with his hands, popped out of his fingers. Just not getting it in time, and Darius is there.
Darius runs close to a 5-second base, so you really got to be clean when he hits the ball to be able to make the play before he gets there. You only get one chance with him, and like you said, Ivy was there, but he wasn't clean, and that's the 20th run now of the game for the Austin Blackhawks.
I was waiting to see if Molly was going to ask Mike to do his traditional little dance at home plate, and she did. Waiting at ease with the bat casually up on the shoulder as they wait for the field to be ready. Nod from the umpire. Base check. Bat up and at the ready. Just dropping below the bat. Again, right below the bat. It's been a really hard game for Mike at bat. And low one on the outside.
They have got to, when it gets later in this tournament, and they're playing the top higher seeded teams, man, they have got to have Mike Finn going on offense. That's the one thing that is a little troublesome for Austin. And he just struck him out again.
Yeah, it's been a very difficult game for Mike at bat this game. It's going to bring the Lookouts back into bat. Can they recover 20?
Go around, check out team pages, and we share the best of those to the NBBA site as well. So
got that base check, scratch of the knee, bat up at the ready. Ow, just barely off of that pitch. Readjusting of those batting gloves. Oh, a little late, but he just caught it, tapped over. Darius is running for it, stopped it with his legs, and he has got it again. You don't mess around in that area.
He's closing this out for the Austin Blackhawks and closing it out strong. And Oklahoma's down to its final out in this game.
So you got Aaron up to bat for the Lookouts. Hopefully he will not be the last bat for the Lookouts. He's been doing quite a bit for the team this first game.
He's been their most solid player on both sides of the ball. If you consider offense and defense, Higbee is impressed, and he's a rookie. He's only going to get better.
A quick adjustment.
Coming up,
moving Malero up. Nope, somebody up.
Coming up in that 11:30 time slot, one of them will be, we'll see the first look at the Indy Edge as they start off against the Tyler Tigers. Thunder and Scrappers in Pool C. That's an interesting one as well.
Just barely above that pitch. Again, ball just underneath the bat. High pop up again. I cannot see how high that's going. He's dropping right into center again. He did that again. Darius scrambling for it.
Oh, and Higbee missed it. He missed the base to end the game. He would have scored, Rosina. That was a high pop-up. It landed in a 4 zone, but he missed the base.
Scrambled, had one hand reached out in front of him, flat on the ground, reached the ball out and just held it inches above the ground, totally in control.
So the final score of this first game of the day in Pool D, the Austin Blackhawks 20, the Oklahoma Lookouts 9. It was an Oklahoma lead after 3 innings. A 9-run top of the 4th is what did it for the Austin Blackhawks. They move to 1-0. They will take on the SGV Panthers. The Lookouts go to 0-1. They will take on the BSO Philly Fire.
I have a final score.
So I would say for my choice player for the Lookouts would have been Aaron, and definitely on the Blackhawks would have been Darius. What would you make as your call for individual player?
I would tend to agree with you for the Blackhawks. Darius Sterling was solid on both sides of the ball. I think I would give an honorable mention to Drew Burnett, making plays on both sides and scoring a few runs as well. And for Oklahoma, Aaron Higbee was the star on both sides for them. As they didn't play poorly, they played one really good half of the game. The first 3 innings, they were up 8-5. The last 3 innings, Austin dominated, and they looked like a team that could make a run here again at the 2023 World Series of Beep Baseball.
So we have both teams here going across in their traditional congratulatory good game, congratulation handshakes. I'm definitely hoping to see more from Mike Finn from these Blackhawks as they play. I've seen him play before. He really is a really good all-around player. So really harsh seeing that many strikeouts in the first game of the week. So definitely disappointing there. Hopefully that is going to change up in the week. They'll definitely need that as they start to play more experienced teams.
Yes, that was a surprise. Mike Finn struggled at the dish, but he is an elite caliber player. Austin is a well-coached, well-disciplined team. That's why they're back here every year making deep runs. So whatever it is, they've got time to get it figured out here, and that's, some of what the round-robin games are for on Tuesday. Yes, they're playing for seeding in the double elimination, but they're also working out things that they really need to get worked out before the winners' games start tomorrow. And so Austin looking good. They've got to be happy with the way they played. Oklahoma's got some things to work on.
So that was a great first game of our season, and you all have a wonderful day out there. There's still no more clouds in the sky, just as hot, and the breeze is starting to die. Wonderful game. Hope to see most of you at 2:30.
We'll be back at 2:30. Thank you, Rosita.
It's a building.